Hi, and welcome to the Love How Deep podcast with Brian and Heather Mayer. Our purpose is to equip married couples like you with resources that rely on the transformative power of God's Word to strengthen your relationship. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. This one's going to be a little bit different. As you can see, our background has drastically changed.
Oh,
We're sitting outside. Enjoying
I love it.
It's a beautiful day, so we love it. We are also dressed appropriately for our subject today. This says, my t-shirt says 20 years and counting. I'm a survivor. And Brian?
Yep. Proud husband of a survivor.
So this is a big deal for us this year because this is 20 years. It marks 20 years of being a breast cancer survivor for me. And Brian and I were dating when we found out that I had breast cancer. And here we are married today, tearing up together, talking to you. We are not scripted. We have nothing in front of us other than something that we're going to show you in just a few minutes. But we really just want to talk to you and maybe give you some encouragement of ways to help each other when you find yourself in a place where one of you, your spouse, you or your spouse is just drastically ill, facing something that is just insurmountable. You think you're never going to get through it.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was for us when we were dating.
That's right. And so with that, I would love for you, if you don't mind, take me back to that time when you found out. I don't know, how did you find out? What were you thinking? What were you feeling? And this was when we had only been dating for a couple of months.
Right. Only a couple of months. And
you need to ignore these people and just talk to each other.
Maybe a little bit. So it was devastating. I had feelings that I was going to die.
Yeah.
Even though the doctors said it's just a lump.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get it out. You're going to be okay. And I was still terrified. That did not make me feel good. I did get to the point to where I could pray, and I was believing that it was not going to be anything but just a random non-cancerous lump, and they were going to take it out, and then that was going to be the end of it.
Yep.
That's what we believe. It's not the report I got. So yeah, it was terrifying.
Yeah.
And when, I don't know, within a few days of me finding out what it was and that I was going to be facing chemotherapy treatments and another surgery and all the medications and everything else, I tried to get rid of him.
Yeah.
I really did. It was July 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
And you came over to the house and I said, I want to talk to you. And told you that I was probably going to die. And we were serious, but we weren't engaged. Nothing like that.
No.
And I just felt like you didn't sign up for this and you needed to be set free and let go. And I didn't want you to feel like, oh, great, I'm stuck. I can't break up with her now because what's that going to make me look like when I look what she's going through and I need to stick this out. In my mind, that's what I thought you were thinking, was that you were trapped. And I didn't want you to be trapped. And so I told you could go and I would understand, and you didn't sign up for this, and you could go fall in love with someone who wasn't going to die.
Yeah.
That was my thought. And that's what I told you. And it was hard. It was so hard.
And looking back on that, I completely understand and get it why you would feel that way, why you would say that, because if it were me, if I were in your shoes and I had cancer, yes, I would probably think those same things. But for some reason, because I was on the outside of this whole thing and knowing that it was just, I think, stage 2, right? I know stage 4 is a very different place, obviously. And so I thought, okay, if you caught this at a better place with stage 2, I think this is going to be okay. But even if you were a stage 4, I still would not have left you because it's just something where I just saw something special in you. And I'm sure that if you're watching and you're with somebody right now that means a lot to you, you'd probably say the same thing. You're like, no matter what, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go. I wouldn't leave. But it was very early on in our relationship. So again, I get why you knew you went that route. I'm sure if we'd been married for 10 years, I don't think you would have said, hey,
you can leave me. No.
Yeah. But get it based upon all the circumstances. But bottom line was I, again, was like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not leaving is what I mean.
Yeah. And I'm so
sticking
grateful.
around. Yeah.
So great.
And I didn't feel obligated or anything like that. Yeah. So,
you convinced me, obviously.
Yeah. But it wasn't an easy time. It was obviously very scary for you. And I had my moments too, of course. But I think really it brought us closer together. That was when we started talking to each other. Even though we hadn't been dating very long, we had known each other for a couple of years before that. Yeah, I think it really just drew us closer together. I don't know. Was that the moment when we said, "Hey, we could see this
Yeah.
moving into marriage"?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember if that was like the pivotal moment.
That was, yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, up until then, we hadn't even talked about that, and so that was just, yeah, it's where it went. But I told him we could get married when I had all of hair back. My hair was down to here.
Yeah.
And I said, when it's all back to here, then we'll get married.
Yeah.
And I was terrified and more stressed about losing my hair than anything else. And I lost some other stuff too, but didn't want to lose my hair. And we got married and I wore my wig.
You were pretty cute bald. You almost had this when your hair, I guess was that when it started to grow out?
It started, it was fuzzy.
Okay, so I'm thinking back to when it started to grow out.
Like
but
a
it
little
was,
baby duck.
yeah, it looked
Just
like a
that
little
little
baby duck.
dowdy
You look cute. Yeah.
Mm.
And I think you lost your eyebrows too, but because you wore glasses, you didn't maybe notice it as much.
Yay.
Yeah. So
We built
a little bit helpful. But I want to talk a little bit about the whole wig situation, specifically the Carol Brady wig.
Oh, that was super fun.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Talk about it.
Well, I'm trying
Or
to
am I
remember.
talking about this? Do you want me to talk about it? You want me to say that?
Sure.
Okay. So I went with my mom and my best friend. Her name was also Heather. I have a lot of friends named Heather. But we went to a wig store and I had my support team with me, just helping me through it. They knew how traumatized I was over all of this. And I picked out all these different wigs and was trying them on, trying to find the best one. And we literally did make the most of that. Like I had one on that was very long and we were like, ooh, she's a blonde bombshell. Or I put on one that was hot pink and I was like the rocker chick. Like we totally had names for all this stuff and took pictures of the whole thing. But we picked one out, which was a beautiful auburn colored wig, which would be the reason that my hair is turned red now. It was not my hair.
Your hair looks a lot like what it did with the wig. Yeah.
So somebody that my parents were friends with gave them a wig and said, Heather might want this. It literally looked like Carol Brady from the Brady Bunch. And I was like, whoa, I am so tired. However, never going to happen.
Yeah.
So I decided to have fun with this because I figured if anyone has to go through something so traumatic, then that means that gives me the right to torture anyone else. And so I did this to two people, to Brian and to my sister Stephanie. I put on the little short wig and came out with tears in my eyes, playing it up. And Heather was even there to help with this. And if she's watching, I hope you remember this. It's like one of the best memories ever. She went out there first to say, Brian, she's really traumatized over this. Want you to be supportive. This is really hard. I mean, she set it up good. And she did. And I was in the back bedroom just laughing to myself, thinking, okay, get serious, because we're trying to play it off. This is the wig I bought, and this is all they had. And so I come down the hallway, and I'm just like, and Brian, what went through your mind?
So I don't think I said a word. I was just processing in my mind, silently sitting there, and I saw you come in, and I'm not kidding. My very first thought was, we can eat analyze. We're not going to be going out a lot because I don't know that I would take you out with this wig, but of course I would have gotten used to it. I would have figured out a way, but man, it was like, this is not you. This is not your style. This is not good. Again, we'll just...
And we had him convinced. We had him convinced the wig store had nothing but that. There's nothing available for a wig other than this in a variety of colors. So then I went back down the hallway and to dry my tears, and then I put the real one on, and then came out, and he was like, So I had a good time poking fun at him, and I actually did the same thing to my sister, who in her mind, her first thought was, okay, I am going to go back home. She'd flown into town. She's, I'm going to go back home, and me and my friends, we're going to take a collection, and we're going to find her a wig, because I know they make them better than that. So I had a good time teasing her too. That was
the wig. That was a pretty big part in the memories of those days. So
I still have both of them. In a closet.
And I guess, I don't know, when I think about that, the part of the point is, like, even if you have a situation that's pretty dire or pretty serious. Hopefully you can have these fun moments of just being a little silly, and
Yes,
because that's
I
life
did.
is life can be hard enough as it is.
So if
And
you
I
can
was
find ways to like, I guess, poke fun at the situation or find the happiness in the situation, how can you lighten the mood of that situation? I think that does a lot for your own heart and for everyone else because people want to help you. They don't know how. They feel awkward around you. Are they going to hurt your feelings? Are they going to say something they shouldn't? Are they going to
right.
they mean
Yeah.
everybody means well, they really do. But in that moment when you're going through that, it doesn't feel like they mean it's just and so I just learned to laugh at myself before anyone else
Mhm.
could.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Speaking of how you can help somebody, I recently heard, I think it was a preacher said this. He said, the more dire the situation is, the less you should talk. And it's just
yeah,
like just being there for somebody. It's
the
probably in
hugs.
those moments when you were just at your lowest,
Yep.
you were really sad.
Yeah,
I'm sure, like you said, like a hug
a
probably
hug.
goes a lot longer
Mhm.
way than like somebody giving you a lecture on here's the 8 foods you need to start eating in order to make
That did
this
not matter to
better.
me
Or yeah, it really doesn't
because
at
I
that
couldn't
point.
eat.
I
It
guess
didn't matter.
now that we're talking about this, I had a question for you. I don't
Yep.
know if you can think about it. What were some of did anything stand out as far as anything anybody did for you, like friends or family or coworkers or?
Everything, like, I had so many incredible moments. Just my mom going with me to almost every doctor's appointment. You came with me to a few of those. My friends and family coming with me to sit with me in the hospital for chemo treatments, driving me to the hospital, being okay with the fact that I vomited in their car. Two
I
people's
remember
cars,
you told me
two
that.
people's car, my
Right?
mom and another
They
friend.
didn't blink an eye. They were like, it's
It's
fine,
okay.
no problem. And
But yeah, there was a friend who gave me a couple of books to read, and she said, I know you're not ready now, but when you're ready, you will have them. And I appreciated Cindy saying that so much because she understood I wasn't ready and it was okay, but she wanted me to have it when I was.
yeah,
There were some books that people gave me that helped
that's
so
good.
much. And so when I was
Yeah.
ready, I
All right.
read them.
Like, here's some
And
resources for you. Don't worry about it right
mhm,
now, but at the proper time,
yeah,
pull it
um,
out.
I had
Wow.
the time, Payless shoe store. Do y'all remember that one? Payless, if you bought a pair of shoes or spent a certain amount of money, I don't know what it was, they would give you or donate a little pin like this, with a little shoe on it. And I love this one because I love shoes. But I want to say that my sister actually got this one for me. And I have tons of pins like that. I had people just delivering things to me, donating money to me because I wasn't working, and just checking on me all the time, giving me cards. I still have all of it. It's a good time to,
Yeah,
okay, I'm show you
sure.
what we have.
Yeah. This is
This
her keepsake box of just
is a keepsake.
everything that went on during that period. Lots of cards, lots of letters.
Yeah, there's
Um,
something
I had one.
specific
Can
I
I
want to
pull
pull
out
up.
the one that
Oh,
I?
yeah, hang on a second, because I just wanted to further answer your question. So my best friend Heather, she started making a scrapbook for me.
Ah, look at this thing. It's filled.
Look at that. Look at that good stuff. So she just started a little bit with some little decorations in there and some pictures. And I'm not going to bore you with all of these things, but it was just the words that she wrote in there. Um, and just a sweet little memory keepsake about our friendship, what she means to me, what I mean to her, and just, a little bit of our history. And this is us at the wig shop. That's that little hairnet thing. But yeah, so we started, I just continued. No, she glued down all these pictures of all the wigs and then I just continued it from there with everyone else trying on my wigs, pictures of that and gluing down all the pictures of me wearing all of my hats and I had a nurse give me a hat. I had friends give me hats. I had some that I purchased and things like that. But just I have this and I can look through it and I've got a picture of me with one of my nurses named Mary, picture of me, my first chemo treatment. Truly feeling like, I don't know, just dreading it. I do want to put that one up too. That was my very first one, August 2004.
Hmm.
And you can see it written all over my face as I'm looking at
Wow.
the medicine going into my body. Just the feelings,
The upset and the
the feelings
fear.
there.
Yeah.
And then I'll show you another picture.
No, yeah, that's probably my favorite picture right there. Yeah. You rubbing on your bald head, saying it's going to be all right.
That
But you
was
thinking it's
terrifying.
not going to be all right.
And
Yeah.
being terrified, is he still going to love me with no hair on my head?
I did, because you
Yeah.
were pretty. You've had several people tell you that you are cute, bald headed. And
I
I
had
will
people
say
sign
too,
my head. Remember that?
yeah,
Y'all signed to the top
yeah.
of my head.
I actually had considered contemplating shaving my head, but I struggle with psoriasis, which is a dry skin disorder, and I had it on my scalp, and maybe I was a little self-conscious, which maybe I shouldn't have been, but at least the thought was there. But we could have been a cute little bald couple together.
I want you to do that, babe.
Yeah.
Yes. But it was always very encouraging and sweet to me.
Speaking of shaving my head, I see the being outside, you have to deal with a little bit of the wind, although it's not really that windy.
You're looking good, baby.
Okay.
You're looking good, dude. So when I mentioned like poking fun at yourself, one of the things when you go through chemo is you get chemo brain and you do experience some memory loss. Or you forget things all the time. And so I made a list of 10 or 20 things that I learned during chemo. And a lot of that really was poking fun at myself. Like I now know what it's like to be a guy taking a shower. You're in, you're out. That's it. No hair to do. No, like getting ready in the morning is like super fast. Roll out of bed, out the door you go.
Dang, I wish we had been married at that point, and that would have been like, yeah, we could have gotten places quickly, but obviously we weren't married, so we didn't live together. So I didn't get to experience this
Oh, you're saying I'm too
this
too
quick
long.
Heather. It reminds me of that country song. I think it's called "Waiting on a Woman."
Waiting on a woman. You're
Yeah.
just waiting on
But
me.
at that period,
You're
like,
waiting.
you didn't have to wait.
You're
I was
waiting.
good, so
No, it was everybody was just so incredible and just did so much with me and for me just to help me with whatever it was that I needed, and whether it was food or driving me to whatever kind of appointments, and just sweet gifts and cards. Excuse me. Yeah.
it does for you. Lots of, I guess when things like that happen, it really shows you who your friends are and just lots of good people in the world. And even though you're going through this rough time, hopefully it helped you see the good. And I was just thinking about remember the whole party?
The what?
The hat party?
Yes. It was
Yeah.
Chemo's history party.
Oh, that's right. The Chemo's history party.
Yeah. So when you make it through something like that, you need to throw a party. Go ahead and take that moment. Be selfish, because you're not selfish, but in that moment and celebrate what you have come through, especially together as a couple. Celebrate what you've come through. That is huge. That's huge. And yeah, I think
it's all about marking the, periods of your life, bad and ugly,
yes,
so to
yes,
speak.
yeah. Wearing these T-shirts today, or wearing this necklace right here. See this sweet little thing? Oh my gosh. Okay. So here's the story about that. We were at like a arts and crafts show, and I think I can't remember if we were married or still engaged at that point. I don't remember exactly, but Kendra was with us. So she's 8, maybe 9 years old. And we're looking at the jewelry because we're girls. This is what we do. And she sees that. She said, "Look, Heather, isn't that pretty?" And I said, "Oh my gosh, I love that." She said, "I'm going to give you that for Christmas." I said, "Oh, sweetie, you don't have to do that." She went running up to Brian and she said, Dad, can I have $20? And he's, "What?" And she did. She literally wrapped it and put it under the tree, and I wear it and love it. And I love that story. I love that it was from her.
Yeah.
It was so thoughtful in that moment of her to even think of that. And I loved it.
I was just thinking, but you have something else
I
you
was
wanted
going
to
to say.
say?
And then for Christmas, Brian pulled that little rabbit out of the hat right there. Yeah, that's my Chemo's history ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Good memories.
again, just more things that you have that you can remember this time by.
Yes.
And even though it was a horrible, awful time, then you look back on it, and I don't know if you feel this way, but it's wow, like God carried me through that. So that was a time of your life where He carried you through.
He did.
Speaking of that, was there any type of like verse or passage or story or moment in church that stood out to you, that helped you just stay strong? Probably putting you on the spot. There is none.
And
See, we're not scripted here, so.
that was 20 years ago. 21.
Yeah.
No, 20. What am I saying? See, it's chemo brain.
I know the plans that I have for you has always been a special one to your Jeremiah 29:11, I believe.
Yes, and I feel like, I cannot pinpoint, like, one particular Bible verse that helps me, but I know that people gave me verses and people,
Mhm.
prayed for me all the time and
Spiritual
poured.
community, yeah,
Yes,
or
yes,
spiritual community,
yes,
yeah.
and that's so important. You have to have it. I don't know if you don't have God, you make it through something
Yeah,
this traumatic.
yeah,
I don't get it.
right. And I know some people, when they experience something like this, they probably get angry at God. And did you have a period where you were angry at him?
Yeah, I was upset. I was just
Mhm.
like, "How could this happen?" Like, there's no history in the family. How did this
Right.
happen? Again, why would God let this happen to me? But I will say, a few years prior, I had gone through a really rough separation, divorce, restraining order, and all that stuff. How could God let that happen to me? I learned a lot in that to not really question God in that way. I can ask him why. He doesn't have to give me the answer. Okay. But I learned to just wait and be patient and trust him in that process and trust that he had my best interest at heart. So then when I was faced with this, I don't know that I experienced like, I'm angry at God. I'm turning my back on God. I still clung to him knowing he's got me through some
Yeah.
pretty bad junk in the past and he's going to do it again. Once I gave him through that
Right.
feeling of I'm going to die. But yeah, I don't know how you go through things without having God and just that spiritual community around you
Yeah.
helping you through it.
And I think God understands that we have feelings. We're human beings. I think
Yeah.
he's okay that we get angry and maybe we start to question. And
Yeah.
ultimately, he still wants us to believe and have faith that he has our best interest at heart. But you can have those little moments of God, what's going on here? What are you doing? But that's all about having a relationship with somebody.
Right.
Sometimes there's ups and downs to it. So, but sounds like
Yeah.
ultimately you really carried that foundation of your belief in him and knowing that he loved you and cared about you and that he was going to carry you through this thing. And he did ultimately.
You make it sound like I was just on a spiritual high the whole 4 to 6 months with this.
No, I
That
know
was
you
not the
aren't.
case.
No. Yeah.
I did go through, I feel like depression. The doctors put me on
Mm,
sleeping pills and an antidepressant and all kinds of stuff, because of how sick I was and how emotionally this was affecting me, how bad it was. And so it was very hard.
yeah.
And doing this alone as a single woman and being faced with not being able to work and not having medical insurance. And
Yeah.
how do you go through surgeries and 8 chemotherapy treatments and a million doctor's appointments and not have medical insurance? How do you pay for that?
Yeah.
What kind of debt are you incurring? And it's, yeah, I mean, there was just a lot that weighed on me there, but God came through every time. I didn't need anything. I didn't have any financial needs because of that.
Yeah.
I did not incur debt. God worked all of that out. And I look at it like I didn't get that miraculous healing with you know, that you hear happens with people sometimes that they go in and they do one more x-ray and the lump is gone. It's nowhere to
Mhm.
be found. She's healed in Jesus' name. And that's amazing. And that's what I wanted. It didn't happen. But God came through in so many other ways and provided for me financially and through organizations. I was able to receive help and yeah, I was on food stamps. Social services was stepping in and helping me. Like people were calling the church saying, tell Heather to send her bills up here. We want to cover this and that. Like I had my needs met. And to me, what I
It's pretty
saw,
amazing, pretty special.
yeah, what I
Yeah.
saw was like God performing all of these other little miracles that carried me through, even through the emotional ups and downs of it all. On my good days, I was like, let's go out. Let's do something. I was calling you, I was calling Heather. I was like, like we went to Busch Gardens before my treatment started,
All
just
right.
have one last good hoorah. And then when we were done, we went back and we had one more last hoorah, the beginning of the hoorah for life. And
You
just
know what?
celebrating in those good moments,
Uh,
so important.
And the funny thing about the Busch Gardens, I don't know if you remember this, we were on a roller coaster and I think you took your wig off because,
I wasn't wearing the way I was wearing a hat. They made me take
oh,
my
right,
hat
no,
off
she
because
had
we
to
were
take
going
her hat
upside
off
down.
because, yeah, it was going to fall off. But you know how when you go through the roller coaster, at some point, there's a camera that'll flash a picture. And I think you saw it. You were like, absolutely not. No one is purchasing that. Do not purchase it.
Heather
Do not
Sorensen,
pass go. Don't
she
collect
purchased it.
$200. You're not buying it. And of course, yes,
I'm
she
looking for it.
did. And that's okay. But yeah, it was a pretty cool picture. And you're just like hanging on for dear life. Yeah. And she's
Look,
got a big smile on her
I
face.
even not because they took my picture, but because I was
Yeah.
having so much fun on the ride.
Right.
But I literally titled this page "A Day of Celebration," and it was 6 days after my last chemo treatment. But there you
Yeah.
go. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that fun. Yeah. So Heather, the girl in the picture, she's, "Oh, I'm buying it." I'm like, "No, you're not." I am really glad she did because what a
Yeah.
special thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully you're okay here that we're doing this a little old school. Heather's doing a little show and tell, putting the pictures up there, but that's just the way we are. We're the pretty simple people, and
Yeah.
but we're just enjoying this. I love doing this out here. I think we need to do more of these. So,
I think we might do that. Yeah.
what else?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah. You've pulled out a few things
Yeah,
there. What
well,
did you want
I
to
wanted
mention?
to talk a little bit about maybe just on my end, just being the person that's kind of on the
Yes,
other
you
end
are
of
the
things.
supporter.
It's not easy because, yeah, a lot of times you don't really know what to say, what to do, how much should I help. And I think you made a good point. There were some times where I maybe didn't know exactly what to say, so I would just offer you a hug, just give you like a big squeeze thing, and or put my hand
Rub
on
my
your
head.
head.
And your
Right.
love language is words of affirmation.
Yeah.
You were always telling me how you saw my eyes were that much more beautiful
Yeah.
because I didn't have hair.
And hopefully encouraging you that it's going to be okay, but not doing it in a way that is just, oh, it's going to be fine. That's not going to be a problem. Don't worry about it. It's no big deal. Yeah, this is a big deal. But at the same time, recognizing it's a big deal, but also knowing that, hey, we're going to get through this. We're going to figure this out. And we do understand that all of us at some point go to meet the Lord. We don't know when that's going to happen, but just to hopefully have faith and continue to pray that this is all going to work out. And hopefully I was the person that you needed in that moment.
You were.
You know?
You showed me who you were.
Yeah.
You did.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
I think that
I said there was no wind, and all of a sudden the wind started to kick
Picked
up
up.
a little bit.
I think that God used all of that to show me your character, which I needed that. I needed that.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was, if you're looking for good stuff to come out of it, that's something good that I saw is that I was able to see who he is and see his character and who he is in Christ and just the marriage vows
Mhm.
for richer,
Very-
for poor, sickness and health. He did that before the marriage vows and was like, wow, what a keeper.
More thank you. And I'll say too, even now, all these years later, and you had said, hey, would you like to wear a shirt like what I'm wearing now? And I'm a pretty, I don't want to keep saying simple. I don't feel like I'm simple, but
You're not simple-minded.
right. I don't care. I don't need to stand out. I don't need to be the center of attention. And a shirt like this could probably make me feel that way. But I said, you know what? That doesn't matter. This is fun. This is awesome. This is a way to celebrate. This is a way to remember. This is a way for you and I to bond. Look at this. We're both wearing these shirts and
Wearing them
We've done
around
them.
all day, running
I
errands
think
today. And
since we've
that's how
gotten
we look.
them, we've worn them probably, you've worn it 4 or 5
lot.
times at least. I've worn mine maybe 3 times on things we've done together.
Yeah. It's special. I don't know. Just finding special things that you can do for the person that's ill and
Yeah.
giving that hug and just even saying, tell me what it is that you need right now. And maybe the person says, I don't know, but at least offer that. Tell me what you need right now.
Right.
Do you want me just to sit with you and be silent? Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
I think things like that.
Just
keep-
listening to you. Yeah. What do you need? What's best for you right now? Like you said, whether, oh, I'm sick tonight and I just need some chicken soup. Okay. Or, hey, I want to get out and go to Busch Gardens and have some fun and not think about this. Okay.
Yeah.
Or again, I just need a hug or whatever it might be. Yeah. I think the person that, if you're on the other end of this, I think really it's listening and asking.
Absolutely.
So, but I think that this might be a good place, you think, to wrap up.
So-
I mean, we've covered a lot of different areas and we've got all kinds of other things we could share, but
Stories.
we'll probably just go ahead and wrap it up. This has been fun.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that we did this outside. We've never done an episode outside like this. And I think it just commemorates like how special what happened and how much it came through means to us.
It was a lot. This is a huge deal.
You know?
Yeah.
And just make sure to go to lovehowdeep.com. You'll see what we've got to offer there. All kinds of great marriage resources, lots of free things. We've got an online course on forgiveness. We have a marriage conference. We have a podcast. Well, that's obviously what you're listening to. We just started a YouTube channel. which this video will be on. So go to
Follow us.
lovehowdeep.com and check that out.
Follow us on Facebook, and
Yeah.
we are on Instagram, although we just don't think to. We thought to start it, and then we just don't get things put up there.
No, it's okay.
It's
Can't
on
do
the
it all
list.
right.
Oh my gosh, it's
It's on
on
the
the list.
list.
It's on the list.
That's probably what you're thinking right now. Yeah. Got a lot of things on my list that I don't get to. So
Yeah, that's life.
yeah. Well, we will wrap it up and take care until next time.